close my jacket just in case that causes problems. All right, guys, welcome to the live. I am Zatanna. Let me just make sure that my mic is working well for you all, as well as to ensure that I am not showing too much skin for the TikTok algorithm. Happy weekend, you guys. So you're in luck today. I'm going to try some magic tricks on you guys. I learned a couple, so we'll see how they work. Just making sure how I sound. Hi, Patrick, Pokey, Jay, Joe. Yes, magic tricks. So I have a pre-show to celebrate the weekend, just to introduce you guys to Zatanna, the mistress of magic of the DC universe. Do I even have any juices left in this? I don't think so. R2D2 is not, he's being washed right now. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, so happy weekend, you guys. Oh, that's very sweet. So thank you guys for joining me. This is going to be a very special. I have a few little tricks I'm going to try with you guys. It's going to be hard because I don't have the platform in front of me, but we will do our best. I tried these out with my hubby before coming on the live, so I practiced a little bit. But we're going to talk a little about magic. Let me talk about that first. Put these to the side. We're going to do, how many tricks are we going to do? 2, maybe 3 magic tricks before we do the comic book read tonight. And we're not going to go super, super late. We're going to do Constantine, I believe, unless everybody really, really wants to do Swamp Thing. So, but before we start, I wanted to talk about magic. Magic. What is magic? Do I know real magic is just real, right? And I think it can be defined as multiple different things. So I have this bumper book of magic. I need to return it to the library tomorrow. It's the Bumper Book of Magic, written by Alan Moore and his brother Steve Moore. Alan Moore is known for writing comic books such as Swamp Thing, right? As well as creating the character of Constantine. And if you know anything about Constantine, Constantine and Zatanna have a torrid love affair. But you know, dealing with magic, you're dealing with realms outside of the time sphere. So those types of relationships are not exactly normal. So let's talk about Zatanna for just a second, and then we'll get into some magic tricks that I've learned and I'm going to show you guys, and then we will do the read. And the read tonight is going to be this Hellblazer, John Constantine. I had a different Constantine story to read you guys. Actually, I'm trying to find it. It's actually where Swamp Thing goes, well, I didn't know that Swamp Thing could do this, but Swamp Thing can take over people's bodies. Like, this isn't him here with the green hand, but, so Swamp Thing, the show was actually really good. I really liked the show. They had Blue Devil in it with, I can't remember that actor's name from 90210, but it was really good. I thought it was well done. I remember that. You do remember that ability, Pokey. And he can also like tell when women are ovulating because of the hormones and stuff. So there's a story I've been trying to get where Swamp Thing wants to have a baby. He wants to have a little sproutling with his lady love here, Abby Arcane. What a name, right? Way to seed the whole green magic in there, you guys. Oh my goodness, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So the read tonight, I'll let you guys choose, but maybe read a little bit of Swamp Thing, and we'll read a little bit of Constantine. We're not going to have enough time tonight to go through a full storyline of anything, but if you want to get full storylines of me as Zatanna, I do have a title card read of Zatanna, reading Zatanna. It's a good one. But let's talk about her in just a second. So, Zatanna Zatara, the DC's Mistress of Magic. I grew up right outside of Arkham Asylum in Gotham. So, how come no one knows about me, right? Because I have a full-time job. I'm a professional magician. I've been relearning how to do some tricks lately. But to all of you who are asking about magic, we have so. Full disclosure here, you guys. When you talk about magic, how do you define magic? There's a really beautiful, I'm going to actually read you a little bit from this. Alan Moore does a really eloquent job of describing it. And so I think because I have to return this tomorrow, I don't actually own this book yet. You can get it on Amazon. And it's a great way to look at magic in all cultures, just like the history of magic, all that kind of stuff. Really cool imagery in here. I don't want to get in trubs for some things. Like it goes through like the caveman, right? And how I was saying like caveman paintings and hieroglyphs and how we create stories and share those stories with each other and how we talk about the divine and all that is all kind of locked in there as well. When I think of magic, I think of one of the greatest magicians, Criss Angel. I miss good guy Chris. I actually miss the more performing magicians. I will take one of these. A Stitch Project. I will have to add you. Move this one in. I will have to add you another like. My numbers are all messed up for a reason. I'm a mistress of disguise. Like Mrs. Dress Up. You'll Mr. Dress Up back in the day. I'm like Mrs. Dress Up. I love playing pretend. So, hi Eric Jones. Welcome to the live. I am Zatanna. I'm going through some magic stuff. Hi Dark Rider. Hello, hello. Oh, I do nerd all the time. I'm actually a nerd. Like people don't realize this. I'm like actually into this stuff, like the lanterns lore, which I'm going to go into with Jessica Cruz later. But I know a lot about Zatanna. I know a lot about myself. But memory is a crazy thing too. So I'm just going to read you guys a little piece from this bumper book of magic by Alan Moore and Steve Moore, two brothers. I have a little sister. She and I think we share like some telepathic connections, no big deal. And I'm sure you guys also probably do some magic with some of your, Adam Wigmore, what is green's worst enemy? There's a few things there, Adam. You have Parallax and Hal Jordan, right? He ends up becoming Parallax, right? Which is like the personification of fear. You do have the Yellow Lantern rings as well. But, there's also the prophecy of the War of Light, right? Where all the light lanterns go to war against each other. The Book of Away. I kind of hope that the show would do that, but it looks like they're kind of keeping it non-cosmic, which makes me kind of sad. Hi, Gwen Stacy. But that's for another show. Although, I'm really sad that they didn't really do anything with the whole Doomsday Clock storyline, where Dr. Manhattan and Superman meet, right? And Dr. Manhattan's actually very fascinated with the Green Lantern rings because you remember, like, if you've ever watched Watchmen, he's very like, oh, and he actually goes up against the magicians in one of my crises, in Doomsday Clock, he goes up against Zatanna and all the magic users, and he like learns magic in like 2 seconds and like uses it against them. So he doesn't even say it's not real. It's just how you wield it. Red lanterns are rage or anger, but I would say that none of the lanterns are intrinsically evil, right? Because they all gain their energy from emotion, right? The emotional, I would keep on calling it the electromagnetic spectrum, but it's like the emotional electric spectrum where the Green Lanterns are will, right? Which is interesting because if you were to map the colors to the chakras, green is actually the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is right here in the center, but it's close to your solar plexus, which is will, which is yellow, right? So yellow, it's if we look at color theory and context behind those things, you need everything around it. Like, things are not inherently good or evil. It's just like, where are you standing? Like how when you're on stage, stage left is actually right to the audience, right? So when you're doing directions on stage, left is right and right is left. Just like how Zatanna, when she does magic, she speaks in reverse, right? So all these little nuances, they're all part of the lore that sits underneath any kind of story, right? And you don't need to know all the nuances of the lore. I'm just a nerd and I love all the lore. I love knowing the deeper reasons behind things. Like in Game of Thrones, I love all the dragon, like old Valyria, right? I want to know before the doom, before the fall, like what happened, like where are the dragons, that kind of thing. So my hubby's here. I practiced on Constantine some of my magic tricks. So actually, before I read from this, I'm full magician today. Oh, hey, Dandy Money Man. Thank you for that. Welcome. Huge soup support. Oh, yes. Yes. And Zatanna is like a part-time member of, I actually read you guys a comic book where Zatanna was going to be recruited. Like there was like tryouts for the main Justice League team because, you know, the Justice League they have different lineups. You have like your all-star lineup with like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern sometimes, The Flash, right? Martian Manhunter. So you have your different lineups depending on, you know, the story, of course, but also just, oh, Anthony, thank you for the star goggles. Appreciate that. Magics. Oh, and I'm going to be doing some tricks today. So you guys are in for a treat. You're in for the best Zatanna ever. So Zatara is a daughter of, I always mispronounce her name. My mother is Cindella. I'm going to call her Cinderella. And she is Homo Magi. What is Homo Magi? Homo Magi is an ancient race from ancient Atlantis in the DC lore universe. And the way it's described is it's that they're human beings that have a special affinity for magic. Not explained any further than that, but hey, let's take it. Okay? Put a pin in that note. My father is a great stage magician himself. Zatara, who, oh my gosh, Zatanna Zatara. What's his first name? Zatara. He becomes Dr. Fate. There's a bunch of other things going on there as well. Now, Zatanna, I've read a comic book with you guys where her first trick that she ever does is she makes gelato fall from the sky by saying gelato backwards, you know. And she is also a professional stage magician. Oh, yes, Anthony, the magic lore. And I have always loved magic. Like when you're talking about Chris Angel, if you think about Houdini, you think of the people who, for a while on YouTube, me and hubby were watching The Masked Magician, you know, the guy who like, I'm going to reveal all the magic tricks, right, to you guys. And then all the other magicians were getting all mad that he was like showing off them. But he had some hot chicks there. You know, he had some nice assistants. And Puff the Magic Dragon. Oh, Piff the Magic Dragon? Oh, that was Puff. Copperfield. Oh, Copperfield and Claudia Schiffer. Remember, like, magicians are always dating supermodels. It's also, to be a magician is a masculine quality. Like, if we're in D&D land and we have different types of magic users, you have ones who take their magic from, like Shazam, for example. Shazam actually stands for, I think it's like Solomon, Hercules, Achilles, Zeus, Apollo, I forget. And then Shazam for the Mary Marvel is Saloon. So they're invoking deity. So it's like that is one way of deriving magic. You're pulling magic from that realm. And then I think my personal opinion, this is my opinion about DC lore and magic and all this stuff. And like you guys can also works with Penn and Teller. Oh, you guys are very sweet. Oh, is Willow asleep? Yes, she's sleeping. No need for a magic spell though. I do believe that children are already predisposed to seeing things that, us as adults, we start to like calcify our third eye. We just like don't see things anymore, right? So they're more predisposed to like magic stuff. And I do think that sleeping and dreaming, it's much more active for children. So yes, Willow's sleeping, getting in that magical dream astral training, right? Yes, Spicy Sensei, where I'm going to do some actual magic today. So I have a theory. It's well known that the Superman family, the Kryptonians, are sensitive to magic, vulnerable to magic. Yes, I think that changes in some storylines, but typically that's why you'll have Constantine or Zatanna come in for backup, or you have Justice League Dark to deal with all like the magic stuff. Like Batman's been known to be like, ugh, magic. Uh, but if you're dealing with like magic villains, you probably need magic users to help even out the playing field. And what I was saying about how magicians are masculine, it's because to be a sorcerer or sorceress is more feminine. And that's not to say magicians can't be women, but there's a reason why you have like David Copperfield with his beautiful supermodels, right? It's or like Elvis and his like girls around it. Like it's what the magician with the wand is a masculine kind of energy. It just that's just what it means, right? You can have women who express that more and men who that kind of thing. And then when it comes to sorcery, right? It's a lot more like wild, right? You're pulling from like the energy and the elements and the storm and the invoking the planet herself to like rumble beneath you, that kind of thing. So depending on what affinity you have or what kind of magic, there was actually a really great show we were obsessed with for a while called The Magicians with Quentin Coldwater. And I forget the name of the land in it, but it harkened to like Narnia as being a real place. And so with that, I'm going to read you guys a little bit of from this book. It's The Bumper Book of Magic by Alan and Steve Moore. And it actually, like, Alan Moore is one of my favorite comic book writers. You guys know this. I've been reading you guys some Grant Morrison a lot lately. And it's interesting. It's almost like Alan Moore and Grant Morrison are like different types of wizards, like different types of magic users. So Grant Morrison's self-proclaimed chaos magician. Alan Moore is also a magician, like Moon and Serpent. I picture Alan Moore as like somewhere in the English moors up on like a little hut somewhere like Yoda. That kind of thing. Oh, hi, Alaska. Wonderful. Doctor Strange. Yes, Doctor Strange is also a good one. I'm going to leave the Marvel magic stuff for Jean to talk about, Jean Grey, because it's a fun thing to talk about when we have like the psychic realms and then the magic astral realms and how those different dimensions are connected, that kind of thing. The Killing Joke is also epic. Jeremy, did you know that it was actually oh my gosh, this sucks. I don't remember the artist of that, but it was actually the artist who wanted to do that story. But he's been quoted as saying that when Alan Moore wrote The Killing Joke and he had to like draw it, it was really rough, like to have to go there and like, poor Barbara with that. But you know what? She's tough. I love Barbara Gordon, right? And this all takes place in Gotham. Like Zatanna is like a Gotham girl, not the Gotham girl, but she was born and raised there. And so she's got a lot of relationships with a lot of the characters, like any true magician. It's like Thoth and Hermes in the great myths. Those characters don't usually have title cards about them, but they're in a lot of other stories. Brian Bolland, thank you, Cowboy XTM, Brian Bolland and Jeremy. Yes, it's so good to always call out the artists as well, because comic books are a beautiful collaboration between writers and illustrators, right? They need each other, right, to bring comic books to life. And it's kind of a wonderful thing. So I'm going to read you a little bit of this because I was reading this myself and I was like, wow, Alan Moore, you have a really great way to put it. So get comfy, you my friends, and I'm going to read you a little bit of this, and then we're going to do some magic, and then we're going to get into the comic book read. Okay, so this is in Alan Moore's voice. Welcome, readers, to the Moon and Serpent bumper book of magic. In this marvelous compendium, oh, Alan Moore, you always write like that. It's almost like, do you really mean for this to be read out loud? I can read it in my head, but then when I try to in this marvelous compendium, we hope to offer you a clear and useful introduction to the history of this exciting subject of magic, of course, while providing you with all you need to know in order to pursue your own investigations and experiments. We fall in love with the romance of magic as children, and then, when we are a little older and we have found the real world to be slightly less enchanted than our storybooks have suggested, we become bitterly disappointed, scornfully rejecting the idea as unsuitable for serious grown-up debate, perhaps afraid that by believing in it, we are only risking being once more taken in and then let down again. What is it then, this thing that most of the great artists, scientists, and thinkers who shaped our society considered so important, and yet which is seen as only fit for fools and babies? What is magic? To a child, the answer would be simple. Magic is the realm of wondrous powers and strangely worded spells, of spirits, of demons, of witches and sorcerers. Clearly, none of these things have a place in the adult view of reality, although this does not mean we can dismiss the child's experience as unreal. Before discussing magic, then, it seems, we must first ask, what is reality? While each of us perceives it in a slightly different way, reality is usually defined by the prevailing worldview of the day. In the bygone times, the human mindset has been dominated by both magic and religion, whereas in our present era, it is science that provides the basis of our thinking and thus determines what we will accept as being real. Thank you, Cowboy XTM. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Cosmic Club. The scientific method, though, demands experimental evidence that is repeatable in a laboratory and thus cannot include the human mind, nor human consciousness within its terms of reference. Though quantum physics tells us that the mind of an observer may affect events upon a subject or upon a subatomic scale, since consciousness cannot be measured or deemed, science in general either disregards its presence or perceives it as a puzzling and frustrating nuisance, as a ghost in the machine. In accordance with its own rules, science must deem consciousness unreal. But this is not our everyday experience. We all believe that we are conscious, and those of us who make the most of that consciousness, such as inventors, artists, or philosophers, should surely have some means of understanding the phenomenon they deal with on a daily basis, even though material science chooses to ignore it or insists that it isn't even there. So that's from this book. There's a bunch of other beautiful things in here as well, which I found interesting, like going through the spheres and such. Promethea, if you read Promethea and you read this, it's a nice little corresponding read, I find, together to understand each other. And so now, without further ado, let's do some magic. And please have mercy on me, you guys, because I just learned these tricks recently. And honestly, it was like for children, I used this little kit for kids, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So, first of all, I'm going to make a penny disappear and reappear in front of your eyes. Okay, so I have this ordinary I mean, it's a magic box, I guess, right? So how about Cowboy XCM? So, and we also have a penny. I have copper. It's a copper penny, right? And copper is actually sacred to Venus. And I know we're in Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and copper actually also has a few properties as it comes to how should I put it? Like when it comes to like growing plants and stuff. So it's kind of a good thing. So penny, we're going to put it into this little like box thing and we're going to make it disappear. So here in Canada, I've been keeping the pennies because we don't really have pennies anymore. You just go up to the nickel and that kind of stuff. I don't even know really what a penny is worth. It's not even worth the copper that it's printed on anymore, probably. So, and also lucky penny, right? So to all of us, lucky penny. So I'm going to put it into this ordinary box, okay? And thank you again for that gift. So I'm going to say a couple magic words. Abracadabra, or Shazam, or what would Zatanna say? Like, disappear penny. I hope this works. Oh, it did work, you guys. It's gone. What do we do now? Because if you guys have watched The Prestige, right, where oh my gosh, what's that actor? He's talking to Batman. Christian Bale. I mean, like, the most important part of a trick, right, is the prestige. You have to bring it back. So let's get our penny back, you guys. Put it back into the box. Maybe you're in here somewhere. Oh gosh, please work. Oh, you guys, it did. And we're impressed with myself. That actually made it work. So, and thank you for becoming a super pet. And there's our penny. Lucky penny, you guys. So y'all get extra luck today. So that, yay, right? Thanks, Gwen Stacy. And so, oh, I'm so happy that worked. Oh, thank you. Oh, this is how magicians feel like. I have a few card tricks I'll try later, but I was trying, like, the sleight of hand thing I'm not very good with. And I don't want to be like, don't look here, etc. So, next trick. Oh my goodness. Let's see, how will I do this one? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do my color block trick, but we'll do the ball, I think. The ball trick. So, what do we have here? Oh, yes. We got our purple ball, right? Nothing suspicious. Nothing suspicious to see here. And then I'm going to take this ball. It's an empty, right? And I'm going to put this ball into my pocket. I had to put a jacket on today, you guys. I was going to wear gloves, but like TikTok's been really mad at me lately for showing too much cleavage. So I was like, okay, I need to wear a jacket. So it's in my pocket. You can see like, yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do, magic, I'm going to make the ball teleport from my pocket into this. Okay. So let's play some magic. Abracadabra, Shazam, bam. And then, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? Oh, my magic wand fell. So much power. That's so crazy. So now, let's put it back. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. Frick. And it's gone. So where did it go? There we are. And I'm going to put it back into there. So that was fun, right? So thank you for that. I wish I had a little tray in front of me. And the last trick I have has to do with these color blocks. But I'll do that another time along with some of the playing card tricks I have. I also have a two. Do I want to do one more trick? What do you guys think? Should I try doing that trick? I could try doing it. Let's try. If it fails, please have mercy on me. Okay, so ideally, as I said, I would have this in front so you guys could kind of see the whole setup. So how about you guys pick two colors? Pick two colors for me. The box is gonna is gonna know about what two colors. So come on, guys. How do you register? Blue and green. These two. You guys like blue? I know. Pink and blue. I was gonna pick pink and blue. I always pick pink. I always pick pink and blue. But we like green, right? Yeah, green because green lanterns and lantern stuff. Like we'll do some love for that. And I think blue as well. So green and blue. That's gonna be. So remember that, green and blue. So I'm gonna load that up into this box. Okay. Oh, it's hard for me to do with my nails and stuff. So please converse amongst yourselves while I do this. Oh my gosh. You know, when I was learning magic, I basically I got like a kit, right, from National Geographic. I'll show you guys later. But I also went down this whole rabbit hole of what is magic, right? And so the way that National Geographic talks about magic is very scientific, like sleight of hand, tricks like that. But like, if I'm going to quote Merlin, Sam Neill from that show, he says, magic is real. It's just us, that we are the ones who are like doing the trick, right? So now I need to stab this thing. Like if this was like a woman. So I'm like, oh. So I stabbed the box. And of course, I got remember you guys, got to say some magic words, right? Abracadabra, alakazam, izifra. Zatanna loves to say freeze a lot for some reason. I don't really know why. And then now I'm going to dump the box out. How did that happen? It's like the box, it's like you knew. So there we go. That's well, I mean, there's some practice involved in there, and it's a little sloppy the way I did. I would have preferred a little bit more space, I guess. But stay tuned. I've got many more tricks coming up to do with you guys. So including ones a bit more fancy, but they take. It was just, oh, you guys are, thanks you guys. So that's my ode to Zatanna, Mistress of Magic, in terms of, you know, being able to do like, I read something from Houdini, actually, and I actually have a good friend of mine on Substack. I never met her in person, but her name's Charlotte Pendragon, and she used to be like a showgirl in Vegas and stuff, right? And she talked about how, like, you know, working with different magicians, and really it's like a type of performer, right? If we think of movie magic, thank you, Anthony. I have my little like movie stuff behind me. Like, you could do magic tricks as well. Like even a lot of the bigger ones. Like I'll quote Zatanna here when she talks to Batman, because she does this big magic show where she makes an elephant disappear. And in many cases, magicians can use like mirrors or like light tricks to have it seem like the elephant is like not there anymore, right? Like this magic trick, right? So she makes the elephant like this whole Shazam, like makes it disappear. And Batman comes to see her after the show. He's like impressed but not impressed, right? And he's like, so how did you make the elephant disappear? And she looks back at him and she's like, what makes you think that there was an elephant there to begin with? Right? So, oh, I appreciate that, Anthony. Yeah, so more magic shows, I'm going to bring it up to like higher stuff. Some things I do need like an assistant, right, to do. Like you have to pick a card. And I do have some playing card tricks, some like ESP things to try with you guys as well soon. So let's shift gears ever so slightly. We're going to go into the comic book read. I'm going to read you guys, thoughts. Swamp Thing or Constantine. And how interesting, because Alan Moore actually wrote this, and he wrote that bumper book of magic as well. Swamp Thing's really cool, right? He gets all his power from the green. My hubby. That's right. And as I said, you guys, there was a story where Swamp Thing takes over Constantine's body in order to have a little baby sprout. And I did have a comic book somewhere where Swamp Thing's baby does work for the Justice League. And essentially, if you think about it, it's kind of like Constantine's DNA. Because remember, Swamp Thing, he can't have like a baby. So, and I forget how they explain it. And Chicky here doesn't really want to sleep with Constantine. She's like, you smell like cigarettes. What the heck? Sandman as well. Thank you for that. Sandman's very esoteric too as well. There's a joke in Multiversity where they're in a world where there's no more crime because Superman and Batman and the whole Justice League did their job really well, and so they don't need to do anything. And so Superman tells Batman, hey man, like I once went on this like whole thing with Neil Gaiman's Sandman, and we were like on this whole journey, and then Batman's like, it just sounds like you like fell asleep and had a dream. And that was like that was the extent of your mission. But let's read some Constantine. Swamp Thing will come back to you maybe another time. But I did want to read some old school Constantine. Also, too, if you look at the paper, it's definitely like older, right? It's Hellblazer, and it's still published by Vertigo Comics, not DC, right? And it's like one of those things, like the media, like everything has kind of become conglomerated or like pulled together. So let's just start from the beginning. Oh my goodness, all my magic show stuff. Thank you guys for joining me for that. And you guys were a wonderful audience. And so stay tuned. I'm going to get Wolfie to be my like assistant for some things as well. Like, no pulling rabbits out of my hats though. Any of that kind of stuff. Okay, continuing on, or actually let's begin. We're going to read Constantine, Hellblazer. We're going to go for just a little while, and then I will see all of you guys tomorrow. I'm probably going to do some Green Lantern lore earlier. Thinking of doing some Saturday morning cartoon stuff, so we'll see. Yes, I did dress. I am Zatanna, and you missed the magic show. I did some magic tricks, and they actually worked out. I'm so happy, you guys. They actually worked out. So more to come. I had one where I'm going to pick a card, any card with you guys, and a little bit more engagement with you guys. So stay tuned. And of course, like, who doesn't want Wolfie as your little fur baby friend to assist? And none of the scariness of anything. Okay. All right. I'm back. Yes, that's Wolfie. I just go check. He also has really, really epic dreams, my Wolfie. So sometimes you'll hear him. Back in the day, I was looking at old videos, and when we were first starting to do like DJ dance stuff, Wolfie was dealing with a lot of like skin issues and like allergies. So he had this like big cone. And so when I would do late night comic book reads, every once in a while, I'd hear this like bashing of everything. And people were like, is your dog trying to break into your house? I'm like, no, it's just Wolfie, doing his thing. All right, guys, let's read some Constantine. No more cigarettes consulting. We just got married. Ain't it a touch late to be asking who I am? Give me something I can tell my distant cousins who couldn't make it to the wedding. And they're flying on this like cheap discount jet. Okay, at 12 I met the devil. At 15 I fucked my first succubus. Save that bullshit for your official biography. I want the truth. The truth it is then. The real John Constantine is a stranger to me. He's a shadow at the end of the street, a pale face at the window. Oh yeah, it's very rough around. This is pre-meeting me, right? Zatanna. I have no doubt that Constantine loves Zatanna, but like Constantine, just like certain character types, sometimes just not a one woman kind of man. I don't really know if Zatanna, like she's a traveling artist as well, you know, true bohemian. And I know that her birthday's in May. She's a Gemini. She shares her birthday with, is it Gardner Fox or Fox Gardner? But her creator, she shares a birthday with him. And Constantine's interesting too because he hasn't always been a part of the DC universe. His introduction into like things like Crisis and those storylines has been a later addition, which is interesting when you think about magic itself and like the imagination and that whole role of it. So, being honored here. People die around me. I leave a trail of human wreckage, says Constantine. I'll say, you're just a magician. You fight demons and do favors for friends who are in trouble, which is true. Let's change the subject. Where are you going to live now that you're married? Or now that we're married? Constantine got married. This must be for some sort of reason. The moment something decent or sweet comes along, I got an uncanny ability to rip its bleeping heart out and leave it bleeding in a ditch. Lighten up a little. I still got sand between my toes from our honeymoon. You've got so close to me, Epiphany, and that's a dangerous place to be. Listen, if I wanted a life sat in front of the tele, because I guess they'd have an English accent in this, watching EastEnders, I wouldn't have married someone like you. So, if some demon kills me and drags me down into hell, you're literally not to blame. Well, I suppose that's nice to know. And now that you mention it, I thought we could live my old flat in Brixton. We'll see about that. And then 1,950 years ago, Ainsley, the Druids' holy island. See, Singeli, the Romans are massacring everyone. You must come with us. Come? To where? Soon their wicked empire will have spread to the ends of the world. The spirits spoke to me last night, a place where I may find sanctuary. They've given me a formula by which I might cheat time itself. I speak of magic that speaks down time into droplets smaller than rain that fall from sacred mistletoe. Hello, always running into trouble. I'm reading some Constantine Hellblazer as Zatanna Zatara, your mistress of magic. I did some tricks earlier, you guys. It's like the pre-show. I'm not going to be reading too much. I might be reading a little bit of Swamp Thing as well, too, because this is a really dark comic, and I wasn't expecting quite so much vulgarity out of you, Constantine, out of like the first 2 pages. So we'll see how much longer because I'm not going to be able to do enough to give you guys enough of the plot. So we shall see. The spirit spoke to me last night of a place where I might find sanctuary. They've given me a formula. Yeah, so he's saying that he can cheat time itself. And you find with like a lot of these bad guys, their own mortality is scary, right? What Swamp Thing? Oh, we'll talk about Swamp Thing. Because I can talk about the Lanterns too, and Alan Scott. He's like a Green Lantern who's Green Lantern in like name only. He's not part of the Corps, but he gets his power from the green, which is like where Swamp Thing gets his power from. And the green is just another name for like the Green Man. The earth aspect of, because you think of like Mother Nature, right? So the masculine aspect of earth energy. You think of like trees, penetrating the sky, that kind of thing. For this Swamp Thing, it's Alan Moore. just because I'm doing magic stuff. And also, too, Alan Moore created Constantine, although he did not write this story. So we'll go a little bit. I wasn't expecting this to be quite so, like, graphic. I mean, I know better, right? But I've been censored on this before and given restrictions for certain things I read in comic books. So I just have to be mindful, especially with certain assets as well. So, Okay. I will seek sanctuary there between those fractured morsels. So you can take time. And then we jump to AD 2011 in London. And you break it into little pieces, simplifying things, but basically, yeah, that's what we do. The algorithms I design keep my clients microseconds ahead of the competition. Of course, sometimes it's about market making, manipulating the price of things, many times a second. Are you concerned that this kind of trading contributed to the economic collapse, which has led to massive global unemployment? Concerned? That's not really my problem. One final question, Marcus. You appear to be building up your property portfolio. That's just a hobby. I've got to spend my money on something. Wow. And there I was thinking all you finance guys were just two-dimensional pricks. Alan Moore Swamp Thing is it really? Oh, we're going to switch to that very soon. Let me see. Let me jump ahead. Oh my gosh, how graphic is this? Look at this. Let me just peek it. Look at that. I can't read this anymore. Okay. There's some stuff here too. With Constantine and friends. So I typically read you guys comic books where I'm in the story as well. And I have read you guys Constantine stories where Zatanna appears and she's like, give me back my key card. I don't want you sleeping in my bed. Get out of here. I hate you. That kind of thing. But I love you kind of situation. I'm sure there's many, many songs I can come up with that are probably about men just like Constantine who you love, but you're like, yo, I don't know. The long-term relationship, maybe not the thing. So Swamp Thing is a character actually not created by Alan Moore, but Alan Moore revamped the origin story. I think the way it's been explained is that, oh my gosh, Swamp Thing's real name is escaping me right now. Let me see here. There's an overture to it. Let me read it. Love and Death Overture. Hi. Good to see you. Welcome to the swamp. Find somewhere relatively dry to sit, and I'll tell you about the stories you'll find in this volume, the second collection of DC's Swamp Thing. In the first volume, we saw the start of Moore Bissett Totalben recreation of the character. We saw Jason Woodrue's cracked attempt to save the Green. Is that his name? Jason Woodrue? Who died? What's his name? Isn't it Alan something? Oh, this is going to bother me now, you guys. What is Constantine doing? Well, you know what? I wanted to actually explain. Constantine was created by Alan Moore as like a buddy for Swamp Thing. And I can see why when it comes to magic. Because a lot of magic has its roots in like nature magic, right? If we think of like the rise of Christianity and the rise of like religion, it's you have like more of like, let's say, these native religions that are worshiping things like the sun and trees and nature spirits, and then this more, I guess, patriarchal Age of Pisces kind of way of worshiping, right? And then this whole coming down against witches and like burning them at the stake, and like magic becomes illegal and all this kind of stuff, right? So magic has been forced into an underground state. When we think about the swamp, right? And when I think about elemental powers, right? There's different types of magic, but if we're going to talk about, let's say, elemental magic, you're invoking fire or water or ice or the green, the trees, right? So you're pulling, nothing is created or destroyed. We're simply transmuting or transforming. What happens to Swamp Thing is that, what is his name? Why am I thinking it's not Adam? Maybe I'll just keep going with this. We saw Adam Woodrew's cracked attempt to save the green from humanity, and we saw the Monkey King, Kamara, who is fear incarnate. The volume begins with a story called The Burial, originally published in the Saga of the Swamp Thing, number 28. It is so easy to forget, seeing these stories preserved in bound volumes for posterity, that this was not how they originally appeared. Like the vast majority of American comics, they were produced monthly, month after month. 23 pages of Swamp Thing script were written by Alan Moore, laid out and penciled by Steve Bissett, and inked by John Totalbat. I hope I'm saying your name right, John. Any attempt to produce art on a schedule like that can run into problems. No kidding, I've been a project manager. If an artist or writer gets behind, there are two choices. Either one skims, oh, thanks, Crazy Talk, and turns in a fast but less than excellent job, or one completes what one is working on to the standard one is aiming for and risks blowing publication dates sky high, upsetting editors, upsetting readers, and so forth. Just like, Game of Thrones, right? George R. R. Martin is like, finish the books, for God's sake. But like writing and creativity, it's not necessarily a straight line, but Neil Gaiman wrote this overture. I love it when other writers write the overture for other people. So let me just jump into it. I do love Abby Arcane. And this is such an old school comic. Oh, I'm going to go here. These are some nice panels. So I'm just going to jump in like a dream. Because as Neil said, like when these first appear, they don't come in books like this. It's serialized, right? So let's go. Let's jump in the middle. Ta-da, like a dream. Okay. 168, a Swamp Thing. Abby walks into this dark swamp-like house. It's very strange and cluttered. Yes, you're right. This is the part of the unconscious where all the stories are born and kept. There are too many to keep tidy, although God knows I try. Over there is a story about an old woman who kept the ocean in a bottle. And down there is a tale of an orchard that bore skulls instead of fruit. All true, you know. This way. There's a lot of dust. Well, things have been quiet around here these last few years. People don't drop by so much. I think that is what annoys my brother being neglected down here. Listen, are you sure I'm going to learn something important from all this? Oh, yes, most certainly. I've got a very special secret back here somewhere, someplace, that's just for you. Now, where did I... Ah, here it is. Oh, yes. I have, in my re-edits, I tend to have a bit of a closer look at the pages, just so you can kind of see what's going on. And, like, if you really look at the paper, it's like, you can tell, like, the age of, like, I don't know, there's just something about having, like, a real book. And I have this kind of, like, from a perspective of, how should I put it? You know, like, when you're, like, in class and your teacher comes in and is like, okay, guys, I'm going to read you guys a story in front of the class. And it's not usually a comic book. It's usually a book. But even then, I try to, like, explain the panels in this kind of format. But yeah, I'd love to have another. Stay tuned for updated lives of that. Okay. A bracelet? Bracelet? Oh no, it just looks like a bracelet. It's really a story, a special circular story that goes round and round and round. But what does that have to do with me? Says Abby. Ah, now that's the secret. You're not an ordinary woman, you know. Some strange stories have intruded upon your life lately. Stories? Everything that's happened to me. It's been real. Oh, please. It was just a figure of speech. Do not take offense. You see, in a way, everything is made of stories. Here, do sit down. You see, what I'm getting at is these things that have happened to you, they've all happened before in similar circumstances. It's like a circle. It goes round and round and round. I'm sorry, but this sounds loony. I better go. Oh no. Please, you must listen to the story. It's one of my favorites. It starts like this. Oh, thank you, Kamikaze Shot. Welcome to the Cosmic Club. I cannot remember the morning anymore. I cannot remember the morning anymore, but I know the evening well. I belong to it now, and it cares for me in return, sheltering me, nurturing me, holding me close within its velvet embrace. The moon is rising now, clawing its way into the sky, a glowing amber fire, or amber eye, that casts its disdainful gaze on the murky ooze below, the swamp that is my home. I move slowly through the moss-draped mire, treading a path that is worn smooth from my constant passing, on beyond the shadows and the dark trees, twisting tendrils to my inevitable destination. The edge of the swamp and the mist-wet old mansion that rises like an aging apparition into a cold expanse of sky. A stately sanctuary full of bright lights and promises, and memories that bring only pain. And the story is by Len Wein and art by Bern Brighton. So even though Alan Moore has wrote stories in this, there are other people who are part of this compilation. I'm just going to do one more panel, and I think we're going to wrap, you guys. I have stood watching that old gray edifice for more lonely nights than I want to recall, dreaming endlessly of the soft golden lady who lives within, knowing I can never have her, and wondering what she is doing now. You smile because he expects you to, but in the shadowed corridors of your heart, there is no real joy. There never can be. A toast, my darling, to us. Today it is 6 months since we wed. Your name is Linda Olson Ridge, and your mind is a raging river. This night, carrying your thoughts along a surging stream of consciousness, sending memories crashing like waves upon some distant shore. You're thinking about Alex again, aren't you? Oh yes, Alex Holland. That's who Swamp Thing is. And so his daughter, yeah. I'm sorry, Damien. It's just that he's still so real to me. Linda, Alex Olson is dead, and you are my wife. Now, eventually you will have to realize that fact.
Alex is gone, darling, and there is nothing to do but forget him. Never, for to forget Alex Olson is to deny a part of yourself, a good part, filled with happy summer days and star-dappled nights, mist covers for your eyes, and memories fall with the tears. So it's interesting. I opened up to like a point where it was like talking about everything is stories, everything is circular in nature, everything is everything else that has happened before it, but yet uniquely you, right? Interesting. And I love this. Some stories do make a difference. So I'm going to wrap that there tonight, you guys. I wanted to really realistically show off my fun magic tricks with you guys as Zatanna Zatara. So thank you guys for all of you guys who were here earlier to see some of those tricks. I am working on some fun new tricks as I get better at them. And, you know, the whole art of magic performance, it is a true art. So thanks you guys, all of you guys, for joining me. I will see all of you next time. Dandy Money Man, thank you for all the support. Thanks for all the love, you guys. Gwen Stacy, thanks for always being here, you guys. And remember, my magic friends, it takes true courage for you to play as exactly you in the cosmic game of life. So be sure to play as exactly you, because the universe is counting on you. But no worries, I do have your back. Magical support, baby. Hey, Papa Dave, I'm just about to drop off. I'll see all of you guys tomorrow. Okay? Bye. Oh, I said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Amazing. Till next time, guys. Stay magical.